teammates, Adam won some Starbucks because Adam had the right teammates. I think a lot of you aren't succeeding in life, and it's because you have the wrong teammates.
Yikes.
Ooh.
Yikes.
So hey, that's what we're going to talk about tonight. The title to my message is You Do Not Have What You Need. You do not have what you need. Listen, from the creation, it was clear that God said it was not good for man to be alone. Listen, you were not created to do life by yourself, and there are things that there are certain things that you will not be able to unlock in your walk with Jesus. There are places that God has called you to go. There are places that God has called you to be. There's an impact that you are supposed to make. But if you're trying to do it by yourself or do it with the wrong people, you'll never succeed. Because you weren't created to do it alone. You were created for unity. Look at your neighbor and say, unity. Look at your other neighbor and just call him a fool. So hey, we've been in this sermon series, and we're breaking down the vision of our church. So it's connect, serve, grow, and does anyone know the last one? Next week? Let's go. Connect, serve, grow, and lead. So what we're going to talk about tonight is growing in groups. If you're ready for the word, say, I'm ready for the word. Did I ever tell you all about the time my son almost died? Yeah, I think Cam was there. So when Caden almost died. Sorry, this is gonna bother me, y'all. ADHD. Yes. It was at Matt's house. Hey, who was at Matt's house? You were there whenever Caden almost died? So we had a dream team party at Matt's grandma's old house. Make some noise if you're on the dream team. Hey, if you want to join the dream team, let us know, man. It's our student leaders in the exchange. They help put on the service every single week. But we have a party over there. We're having a pool party. And I'm not going to say the name of the student because y'all might know him. And I don't want to put him on blast like that. But we're swimming in this pool. At the time, my son's like 5 years old. And he can't swim. He doesn't know how to swim. But he's super brave. Like he will literally just jump into the pool and can't swim. So we're all swimming, we're hanging out, and he's laying down on a water raft, on a little raft, and all of us we're doing things, we're getting up, we're going different places. Well, from across the field, I look and I see my son has fell off of the floating, and he is splashing, drowning in the water. Alright? Now, what I wished happened was one of our incredible dream teamers saw my son drowning and dove in and saved him. That is not what happened. Bro, I wasn't going to call you out, bro. I wasn't going to call you out. All right, so Curtis was lifeguard that day. But, hold up, check it out. So here's what happened. So my son's drowning, right? So he's in the water over his head. He's drowning, whatever. He's drowning. Yeah, that's what's happening. He's drowning. So he's drowning, and instead of diving in, Curtis was all fitted up, bro. He had on his chain, on his little outfit. He sees my son drowning, and proceeds to get ready to get into the pool. It's like taking off his watch. Hold up, bro. He takes off his chain. Takes off his shirt. Bro, he walks over. He folds it up all neatly. 1 second, bro. Yo, you know what he looked like? He looked like one of those kids that didn't really want to fight, that's about to get in a fight. They're like, hold up, let me take everything off, then we'll fight. That was what Curtis looked like that day. But no, Curtis did dive in and eventually saved my son. Do me a favor, put your hands together for Curtis. The lifeguard that day. The lifeguard. So, despite Curtis's horrible lifeguarding skills, my son would have died that day if someone hadn't dove in and got him. The main point that I want to make today is when you face life alone, you will fight life alone. When you face life alone, you will fight life alone. You see, I get asked this question so much is when a senior graduates, where's all my seniors at? We got some seniors in the building? Woo! Let's go. Whenever a senior graduates and they've been in youth ministry for their entire life or however long they've been in youth ministry, the statistics of seniors graduating from youth group, never getting plugged into a church, and eventually walking away from their faith, it's staggering. It's scary how many seniors graduate, leave their youth group, go to college, and then walk away from their faith. And listen, I mean, it's this senior had the same encounter with God that you did. The same God met them in the altars. The same God gave them a prophetic word. The same God baptized them in the Holy Spirit at camp. They had the same encounter as everybody else. But it's like 90% of seniors who are in youth group no longer continue in their Christian faith. Wow. It's crazy. And it's because they leave youth group and they never connect to another church. So they'll go to a different state, they'll go join a college, but they won't connect to a church. And now they're hanging out with the wrong group of people, and then slowly but surely they start walking away from their faith. The key to your walk with Jesus is having a group of friends that are heading in the same direction. Because when you face life alone, you fight life alone. When I look at Jesus in the New Testament, did you know Jesus joined a small group? Jesus was in a small group. Jesus had a group of 12 and a group of 3. Jesus was in a small group. Because Jesus understood that when you do life shoulder to shoulder with someone, if you fall down, they can pick you back up. When you are tempted, they can help steer you on the right path. When you are weak in certain areas, if you have the right friends, they can call you on those areas and make sure that you are staying on the right course. Listen, you need friends that are going to call you on your jump. You need friends that aren't too scared of you to tell you no or to tell you when you're doing something out of line. Confrontation is not a bad thing if you want to grow. Listen, Jesus had a crew. They did life together, they laughed together, they hung out. If Jesus needed a crew, how much more do we need a crew? Come on. The passage of scripture I want to look at today is Acts chapter 4, verse 31 through 35. It's paraphrased, so you won't find it exactly like this, but I just made it exactly to what we need to talk about tonight. There's a bunch of other verses, but Acts 4, 31 through 35. It says, and when they had prayed, the place was shaken where they were assembled together. Look at your neighbor and say, together. Listen, they were together. They were not alone. They weren't like, man, I'm kind of introverted. I really don't want to have a whole bunch of friends. Let me just isolate. No, they were together. They didn't say, man, I'm kind of shy. I don't really know how I feel about going into a small group. I don't really know about getting together. It's just not my personality. I'm not really social. Listen, in Scripture, we just see that they were together. Despite their personalities, despite how shy they are, they were together. Verse continues on and it says, and the multitude of them that believed were of one mind and of one heart. Neither did any of them claim any individual possessions as their own, but they lived life together. If you want to be alive in Christ and not dead spiritually, you have to have friends that you do life with. Nowhere in the Bible does Jesus say that we can do this walk alone. I hear people all the time like, bro, all I need is me and Jesus. We're going to be good. Listen, yes, Jesus is the only way to heaven. Absolutely. However, when you listen to the words of Jesus, Jesus told us to not do life alone. If you choose to do life alone, then when trials come, you'll suffer all by yourself. You see, we do not believe in doing life alone here at the Exchange. We don't believe in it. One of our core values is, I'm not even going to say it, I don't even have another gift card, but I will give someone else a $10 Starbucks gift card if they can tell me our 3 values. I need a student.
No.
You're on the spot. What are our 3 core values of the Exchange? That's our vision. You're close. So the vision of our church is connect, serve, grow, lead. Our values are...
Oh my goodness.
Ava. Man, you said that too fast. What? Boom! Health, community, and authenticity. One of our core values, hey, I have a $10 Starbucks gift card for you. It's in my office, don't ever forget. One of our core values is we choose community. So whenever my wife and I took over the exchange 3 years ago, cool, time is flying, 2.5 years ago. One of the things that we felt is we felt like we did service really well. We felt like, man, we give these students, we give Holy Spirit space, we really create room for God. We feel like there's a good word goes forth. It's fun. So what we did 2.5 years ago is we decided that we wanted to start putting more emphasis and focus on doing life together. We wanted to stop feeling just like a service on a Wednesday night and more like a youth group. So we put things in place like the hangouts, the house party, and then we put more emphasis on our small groups. And so, so that's been our focus and our aim for the last 2.5 years. Make some noise if you're in a small group. Someone shout out your favorite thing about your small group. Food. Huh? Someone else. What? Friends. Let's go. Everyone needs a good friend. You don't have one? Bro, join a small group. You'll have some friends. Everyone needs a friend. Everyone needs a friend like me. I'm gonna be honest. Bro, I am out of control. Alright, so we went to the beach. We went to the beach a while back, and it was me and my son and my friend Von D. Y'all know Von D? Yeah. So Von D every year rents us a condo on the beach, takes me and my family to the beach, doesn't let us pay for anything. It's incredible. Everyone needs a friend like Von D. But, so on this trip, the condo that we're staying at is on the top floor of the condo. So we're at the very top, bro. If you've ever been to one of those condos in the summer on the beach, bro, those elevators are so frustrating. Y'all ever try, you press the button to get up, and that joint takes like 20 minutes before it comes down and then you get in it? Bro, it takes forever. So, what's up? Be patient. So this particular day, we're at the beach. I'm in a good mood. When I get to the beach, I'm in like a stupid, like hyper good mood. So we show up, we're unloading all of our stuff. Well, we finally unloaded our last bag, and we're loading up in the elevator, and we're going down to the bottom floor. And so I'm in a good mood, I'm being goofy, I'm like, watch this. So we get into the elevator, I walk in, and I tell my son, I'm like, I bet you I'll press every single button on this elevator. He's like, bro, Dad, you ain't gonna do that. Yo, that sound was on point.
I've done that.
I scared the baby.
I've done that.
Baby's like, help me. Is that Katie? So I hit all the buttons on the elevator. So we're going down to the bottom floor. Okay, it sounded like a really fun idea when I first did it. And then I realized there's like 35 floors. So we're literally like all ready to go to the beach. We're all like geared up. The door goes down. Or the elevator goes down, the door opens up. No one's there. The door closes. It goes down. Bro, why did I do this? It's taking forever. Well, dude, we get down to like floor 25. The door opens up, and there's this man with his family, and he is angry.
Oh, no.
Like, he's angry, like, oh, it's about time. Been waiting on this elevator for so long. And he starts like grabbing his cart. Come on, kids. Hey, bro, you need to try. You're at the beach.
Oh, man.
And he starts to load up on the elevator with us. I'm like, no. Hey, bro. My son pressed all the buttons on the elevator. You don't need it on you. That's real happening. Y'all all need a friend like me. Hey, friends are like buttons on an elevator. They're either going to take you up or they're going to take you down. Which way are your friends taking you? All right, what I want to do is I want to give you guys, real quickly, I want to give you guys 5 reasons that you should be in a small group. I want to give you, I can do better than that. I want to give you guys 5 purposes of our small groups. How about that? Let's do that. 5 purposes of our small groups. Small group purpose number 1 is so that everyone who comes to the exchange can experience genuine friendships. Say, ah. I'm wording that's so weird. Experience genuine friendships. I sound like Little House number. Sorry. Okay, how many of you guys want to see friends you know at school get connected, knowing Jesus, and get plugged into all that God's doing? How many of you would say, man, I really do. I have friends that I would love to see come to know the Lord. Right? I believe we all do, whether you're bold enough to raise your hand or not. I believe we all have people that we want to see know Jesus. Listen, not everybody is going to come to a service on a Wednesday night. Bro, it's just the reality of it. But you know what a friend will do? Bro, if you're like, hey, we're hanging out at a homie's house tomorrow night. We're going to hang out. We're going to eat some food. We're going to play some games. People are more likely to go to a small group and go hang out at someone's house than they're ever likely to come to a church. Listen, people are not going to come to know Jesus because of an amazing worship team. People are not going to come to know Jesus because of a middle-aged white man who dresses like a teenager. Like, people are going to come to know Jesus and get connected because they feel loved on, because they feel plugged in, because they feel seen, they see value, they feel valued. There's no way that if you guys show up here, each one of you is going to feel seen, heard, and known. If you are not connected in a small group, there is going to be a piece of your journey that you are missing. That part of your journey that's missing is doing life with others that are heading in the same direction. Proverbs 18:24 reads, "A real friend will stick closer to you than a brother." Listen. People are craving a friend that will stick closer than to a brother. I don't know why it's so hard for me to say that. Bro, y'all are out of control. Listen, people are craving genuine friendship. In a world that you have no idea what's true, authentic, everything's fake, people are fake. Man, people are craving for something real. People are going to feel connected here at the Exchange. You're going to feel connected here at the Exchange by joining a small group. Because it's in those settings that you're going to feel seen, you're going to feel heard. Listen, I love that y'all come on Wednesdays, and I want y'all to come every single Wednesday. But man, if you're only coming to the Exchange on Wednesday night, you are missing out on what God is doing here at the Exchange. The second purpose of our small group is if you want to grow spiritually, you need to grow with a group of friends. Proverbs 27:17 says, "Just like iron sharpens iron, so also a good friend sharpens one another." When you sharpen iron, picture 2 swords sharpening each other. There's what? There's heat and friction. And look, that's going to be the case with your friends. There's going to be moments of heat and friction. But I want to challenge you to not run away every single time there's heat or friction with your friendship. You want your relationships to grow deeper, you've got to walk through those awkward moments. You need to find someone who's not superficial and is going to ask you the deep, hard questions, even when you don't want to hear them. Listen, I can tell you how to do life from up here. But if we're in a small group together, I can show you how to do life. There's a difference between telling someone how to do life and showing someone how to do life. I want to give you 2 characteristics of an iron sharpens iron friend. The first one is they talk about God with you in the most important possible place. Outside of church. If your friends only talk about Jesus and God inside of church, and whenever you're outside of church, it's about all kind of other things that aren't good, listen, they may not be the right friend. You need friends that are talking about God outside of these 4 walls. The second characteristic of a true iron sharpens iron friend is they have the guts to talk about some spiritual things that at first may seem a little bit uncomfortable. listen, if we only have conversations that we want to have, or we never go deeper, or ask each other, hey, Evo, when you said that to me, that hurt my feelings. Why did you say that? Right? Like if we never have those genuine conversations, and we're pretending like everything's good. So I picked Ava because she's like the sweetest person in this room, and I'm like, she would never say anything to hurt me. In fact, she defends me whenever other people say stuff about me, like her brother. I called Matt out on it today. Don't give me that look. I called Matt. I was like, you better stop. Bro, I have no more jorts. Ava called me. She came over and I had on jean shorts the other day. I didn't know you weren't supposed to wear jorts. No? Toby Mac would not wear jorts. He wouldn't, bro. Sorry, I got stuck on that word. Alright, so a true friend will also tell you stuff sometimes that you don't want to hear. Listen, the only people in life who really love you, listen, I want everyone to hear this. The only people in life that really love you are the ones that tell you no. If you have friends that never tell you no, never set boundaries, never challenge you, man, those are not true friends. So I want to challenge you. Maybe you feel like you have true friends, but you've never challenged your friends. But you know there are things that you're supposed to share with them, things that you're supposed to talk to them about. Man, have those conversations. Listen, if you're so scared that that person's going to leave your life if you say the thing that's on your heart, they were never meant to be there to begin with. You need friends that are there for more than you just pleasing them. We need friends that are going to challenge us and sharpen us and challenge us to grow deeper in our walk with Jesus. Because look, you can acquire everything by yourself except character. You cannot grow in your character and become more like Jesus by yourself. That comes through community. All right, small group purpose number 3. Look at your neighbor and say, that's the third one. All right, the third point is so we can be here for each other during the tough times. Can we be honest? Life stinks sometimes. Like, I'm super thankful we just got out of a really tough season, but I'm so glad that we had friends that we could count on to get through it, like Carly. Carly's incredible. She helps us through the tough times. But seriously, life stinks sometimes when your parents are going through a divorce, when you're battling addiction, when you're failing your tests, when you don't know if you're going to get accepted into college, when you get rejected from the college you applied for. Life is tough. Life stinks sometimes. But it's even more difficult if you do not have the right people to do it with. Because when you face life alone, you fight life alone. I love C.S. Lewis's quote. He says this about the voice of God. He says, God whispers to us in the good times, but he shouts to us in the pain. Whenever you have people around you, when you're going through stuff, man, it's hard sometimes to know what God's plan is. It's hard to hear God. But if you have the right people around you in your life, man, God's direction and clarity is going to be direction and voice is going to be so clear in your life. Man, there have been so many times I have friends that are hurting and broken and going through tough stuff, and all it takes is one meal, one time, one sentence, and it changes everything. But if you don't have those people in place when the tough season happens, it's going to be hard to find them when you're in that tough season. So I want to challenge you guys, man. Find friends who are heading in the right direction. Let's go. Man, so whenever I first gave my life to Christ, I literally didn't have any friends. Like, I had a bunch of friends that were, like, definitely in the crowd and did not want to be around. And, man, I gave my life to Christ, and I'll never forget, man, I was struggling. I was depressed. I didn't know what the next step looked like. And I came to church one Sunday morning, and after service, they had a guy come up to me and was like, hey, bro, you want to go to Chick-fil-A? First of all, I had never eaten Chick-fil-A at this point in my life. This is my first time. Bro, I didn't have Chick-fil-A. I told y'all I wasn't saved. I didn't know Jesus. I didn't. I had never eaten Chick-fil-A. I was like 25 years old before I ever had Chick-fil-A. I know. So he invited me to Chick-fil-A. Look, he didn't say anything profound. He didn't, speak on behalf of God and speak prophecy into my life. He simply invited me to go have a meal. And when I tell you that I saw and felt Jesus more in that moment than I ever have in my life, because for once in my life, I didn't feel like I had to do this thing alone. A lot of you are here and you're feeling like you have to do this thing alone, but it's because you do not have the right friends in your life. And let me give you a tip. You want to make friends? You want to know the tip to making friends? Like, I'm going to give you a life secret right now. The tip to making friends. You ready? It's profound. Be friendly. What? Hey, I'm serious. Some of y'all walking around with this stank face like you're constipated, wondering why you ain't got no friends. No one ever talks to me. And you sit in the back by yourself.
You're in the back by yourself.
You want friends? Be friendly. Look at your neighbor and say, be friendly, fool. All right, the fourth point for joining a small group is so we can all find a place here to use our own spiritual gifts. 95% of people, if not more, 98% of people are not called to, am I cool? They're not. Does that mean you don't have any spiritual gifts? Oh, every single one of us in this room has a spiritual gift that God has given us. But if you are not doing life with people and putting yourselves in situations that may stretch and grow you, you're never going to know. So I want to challenge you, get friends. Maybe get friends that maybe see something inside of you that you don't see inside of yourself. Do you know how many times I meet someone I'm like, oh, bro, they're called to be a pastor, or they're called to be an evangelist, or they're called to be, they have incredible administrative skills, but they don't see any of that. You have to get friends that are going to see things inside of you that you don't see inside of yourself. All right, the last point is so we can be a large youth group that feels small. So we can be a large youth group that feels small. Look, the truth is, the reality is we want to grow. Like I'm believing God that one day all of these seats are going to be filled. Y'all look back there. Y'all see all of those seats up there? I want to see all of those chairs on the floor, and I want to see this place packed out with the people at your schools. I do. Why? Because there is a broken world on its way to an eternity separated from God, and we have a mission that we have got to get a hold of, and there are people who need to know Jesus. However, growth is important, but if we grow, and we have thousands of people in here, but nobody feels connected, nobody feels seen, nobody feels heard, then what are we doing? Right? I can preach to millions, but if I lose my son, or I lose my wife, or I lose my friends, what purpose is it? We want to grow, but we have to grow big and small. Look at your neighbor and say, that made no sense at all. How many of y'all got it, though? If you got it, say, I got it. Say what y'all want, it worked. I'll explain later. Hey guys, at the end of the day, we are not a cool club here at the Exchange. If y'all know me at all, bro, I'm not cool. I'm goofy and quirky as all get out. Listen, we are a hospital for the hurting. Man, if we feel like when someone shows up that they don't look like us, act like us, talk like us, aren't as cool as us, and we're pushing people away, man, we're missing out on the heart of God. Man, people need to be in this building growing. People need to be in our small groups growing. And you don't need to just hang out with people who only act and talk like you. I'm so glad that not everybody acts like me. This world would be out of control. There would be cheese puffs everywhere. All the time. Everywhere. Everywhere. Hey, I don't know if y'all got this. Man, let's grow in groups. Join a small group and let's change the world. Can y'all do that with me? Man, if you would be here today and you would say, man, I've got to do better. I need I need to get plugged into a small group. I need to do life with people who are heading in the right direction. Man, I just want to pray for you right now. Do me a favor, lift your hands up and say, man, that's me. I need to do better. I need to get connected. See your hands. Awesome. Hey, I'm going to pray for you. I'm going to pray for you guys. Lord, you see everyone here, Father, who feels overlooked, not seen, not valued. And God, I pray, Father, that they take the next step, Lord, and they join a small group, and they'll get connected to what you're doing here at the Exchange. Dear God, we love you. We thank you for who you are. In Jesus' name, amen. Hey, here in just a few moments, if you raised your hand, or maybe even if you didn't, if you guys all look in the back, we have we're going to have small group leaders lined up across the back with sign-up sheets. Here in just a moment, I have one more story I want to share. And then, man, I would love for you guys, when I give you instructions, to go back there. Man, give the small group leader. We have a girls' small group on Tuesday night. We have a girls' small group on Friday night. And we have a guys' small group on Thursday night. So we have 3 small groups for you to join. All right? So I want you to go find one of those small group leaders, give them your name and number so they can give you all that information. Before we do that, though, I want to share with you guys a story. So, as I was just kind of praying through tonight, just what would God have me share with you? I've shared this story before. It's been some years, though, so you may or may not have heard it. But man, it just fits so perfectly to what we're talking about. And I'm reminded of a story of a guy named Michael. So this guy named Michael, he's driving in a vehicle. He's in the passenger seat, and he gets in a tragic car accident. Well, Michael gets ejected out of the vehicle. And Michael's laying on the side of the road, and he's cut up. He flew through the windshield, so he's bleeding out. Well, the ambulance finds him. They check his blood, and they find out that he has a rare blood type. And so they call his dad. They let him know that, hey, Michael's not going to make it. We don't have any of that blood on stock. We don't have it at the hospital. Your son, Michael, is not going to make it. And he asked the dad, he says, do you know anyone who has the same blood? We just need a few pints. And he says, yeah, my other son, Michael's little brother, has the same blood. He's like, we'll be at the hospital. So dad grabs the little brother, he's loading him up in the car, and on the way to the hospital to go meet Michael, he looks back and he looks at the little brother, and he says, hey, so look, when we get to the hospital, Michael's dying. He needs your blood. So when we get there, it's gonna be a little bit of pain in the beginning, but after that, you won't feel anything. He's like, they're gonna prick you in the arm, and they're gonna take some blood from you because Michael needs your blood. He's like, are you okay? Are you gonna do that? The little boy looks at his dad and says, I guess I can do that for my brother. They get to the hospital. He opens the door, he grabs his son, he throws him over his shoulder, he runs inside the emergency room. They find his brother Michael. Michael's laying on the thing, he's bleeding. They rush him in, they put the little brother on the stretcher, and they put the IV in his arm. They drain 2 pints of blood, and when they pull the needle out, the little brother just starts bawling and crying. The dad's confused. He looks at his son, and he's like, son, why are you sad? What's wrong? I said, Dad, how long before